Welcome to the Land Cruiser Project. What we do on this channel normally is review listings for 80 series, 100 series, and 200 series Land Cruisers. And we do this in order to identify common issues, make sure the sellers aren't lying, and also just, better inform you should you be in the market for one of these vehicles. What we're going to do today is slightly different. We are going to show you how to pull up the service history out of Toyota or Lexus's database. It's kind of all the same. I believe for everybody that's out of the United States, I don't think this works. I didn't have any success doing this on a VIN that was originally out of Canada. So, your usage may vary here, but the way this all starts is you want to do the easy things first. So let's identify a vehicle that's for sale. Okay, so we've got this Toyota Land Cruiser 200 series for sale in the San Francisco Bay Area, listed for $39,000. We've got more or less like boilerplate information here on the left. We do have a VIN, so that's going to be critical. But also we've got no real personal information is in here. This is all just like copy and paste from something. And we've got information that's being plugged in manually, and that's what's showing up here on the side. So at least maybe there's a human behind this and not a scammer that's plugging in this information. The VIN number here appears to match the VIN number in the listing. So, that's compelling. So let's go ahead and do the next easiest step, which is to pull it up in Google, and nothing comes up. Let's go ahead and plug it into vehicle history. I can't type history.com. And let's plug it in here. So the reason we do these two steps before pulling up in Toyota's website is it takes time to pull it up in Toyota website. It takes time to log in, takes time, and sometimes it's even finicky. So it looks like we do have a hit here in vehiclehistory.com. We've got 4 photos of it. Looks like it was being sold by Piercy Toyota. These are from 2017, it shows. It's got a California license plate, so those things are kind of driving up. Maybe this actually is a real person selling a real car in California. And, you can go through the photos, you can kind of get a sense for the quality and the condition of the vehicle. Seems like at least in 2017, it was in pretty good shape. Looking down here, we can see the price. Looks like Piercy Toyota were advertising it at $50,000 in 2017, and that it had 35,000 miles at that point. So comparing back to the listing, in those 6 years or so, they've added, 65,000 miles, which is, 10, 11,000 miles a year. Very reasonable for, a second owner. So I think this could be a candidate to pull up. So the way I do this, I don't really like bookmarks, but I just type in Toyota service history. Usually it's the first result, so go ahead and click into that, and it pulls up Toyota Service History website. So if you don't have an account here already, you're going to want to create one. I have one. I'm going to log in off screen, and then you'll see me once we're logged in, and I'll show you where to go. Okay, so we are logged in now, and you can see, depending on what vehicles you have in here, there's things you can kind of, manage. You might, if you don't have a vehicle added already, that'll be like a prompt to just add a VIN. So we're going to go ahead and go over here to the profile, and we're going to find a place to add a new vehicle. And sometimes this works, sometimes it takes forever. Their system is like notoriously slow. But we've got a vehicle it added successfully. And it matches up, it's a 2009. And so then we've got a couple options here. So we're gonna go ahead and click into view details. And I feel like sometimes it doesn't work right, or the links are in a different spot. This feels very much like in flux, but so it pulls up a 2009 Land Cruiser. And again, just to show like how crappy it is, like it's showing, like a, early 2000s or mid 2000s, late 2000s Camry here. Didn't like pull up the information, or there's just like a huge gap in the page. So like sometimes it's kind of slow and it's weird like this. But let's go ahead and I'm going to refresh, see if that does anything for us. And didn't really. Let's try logging out and logging back in. Sometimes, again, it takes a minute to get it updated. So I've signed out, signed back in, and it looks like we've got the vehicle here. Not sure. So like sometimes it'll give some sort of preferred dealer. So I don't know what Bighorn Toyota is or where that is. So let's go ahead and just see what that pulls up. Again, this is supposed to be in California, so that's in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. So not sure why it's pulling that up, but let's go ahead and pull up. Let's pull up the vehicle specs first. And again, like it's frustrating. The website initially acts like we weren't just looking at a vehicle, but at least it plugged in the VIN. So let's go ahead and hit submit. Sometimes like you click it once, it doesn't work. click it again, then it does. And so what you can do here is you can download this full spec sheet. And this helps give you an idea as to how the vehicle was equipped originally. You can see when it was first built, right? So this is a late 2009 model, almost the 2010 model. The VX, we don't really use the VX grade, but here in the US, but elsewhere, it's kind of like the top trim, but the interior is dark gray, the exterior is classic silver metallic. So we can start to see that like all of this information that was in the Craigslist ad, it kind of starts to match. And then we can see what port installed equipment there was. Just looks like it was the accessory package, and everything else was pretty much included. So there's that. The other thing that we want to do is we want to check out the vehicle history on it. So go back to manage account, and that can be really helpful if you want to see if it like had lockers, if it's an 80 series. So let's go back. Let's get into this 2009 Line Cruiser. So go ahead and click View Details. And then we should get an option to pull up the service history here. And again, the website just kind of totally sucks. So we've got down here at the bottom, we've got service history, this big bar. So go ahead and click this, and we can start to get a sense for where it was maintained. So this changes like all the time. I don't know how frequently they update it, but for instance, they used to never include like the mileage and location. Now it does. So we can see that this service from this is just the most recent entry. This entry from January of 2023 was done at San Francisco Toyota. So I'm starting to get a sense this is actually a real vehicle in California. And sometimes the notes here are truncated, so you don't get a full picture of what it was, what it was stating. But this one appears that, they brought it in, the customer did, with an ABS indicator light, the VSC light, and all other lights are on. The brakes are making a lot of noise. They did some sort of EMS, I don't know what EMS stands for, but some sort of health check. And they found a whole bunch of codes. They're all listed there. So something's going on. Sometimes, like one thing kind of goes out of whack, and so all the other things. So it could just be one simple thing. Maybe they left like the fuel cap off. I don't know. But they declined even though they were advised that it wasn't safe to drive and needed to be towed. So you can also click on View All History here, and it'll pull up everything that Toyota's logged. So for older vehicles, like 80 series Line Cruisers, there's rarely anything for some reason. I think a lot of the service history isn't being logged, in the system. But for 100 series and 200 series, it's a little bit better. So you can go ahead and go back. You can see roughly how frequently it was serviced at Toyota. You can kind of get a sense for some of the work that was done. So sometimes, if you were to see like some big body work or an accident, that might be, a concern for you. So just go through here. It looks like just quick services, and, I don't know, we've got like half-ish of the the intervals covered here on the mileage, and going all the way back, looks like our first entry here is in 20,000 miles when it was about 3 years old. So let's go ahead, and this one's kind of curious, so let's just go ahead and look at this this one entry. So customer states the oil was changed at Jiffy Lube. It says could remove filter, please replace oil filter and top off with oil. So not quite sure if they couldn't replace, and that was what the note's supposed to say. But anyway, it looks like they got that resolved, and then looks like they also got transmission fluid flush, brake, cooling system, fuel injection. They did the whole thing. But again, it's not a big deal. This was all done back in in 2015, so right before the second owner appears to have bought it. So anyway, that's roughly the process of how to do this, and pull up the service history. It can be pretty helpful, and sometimes it can show nothing. Sometimes the website just doesn't work at all. So anyway, that's how you do it. And the next step is go back to the seller and ask them about some of the things that you saw in there, try and get a little bit more information if needed, and set up an appointment to go see it and pick it up. So anyway, hopefully this is helpful. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for the next one.